We're who you should be listening to, admit it. The prettiest Tiff in Carolina, get it? Love, family, and friends. This be the energy, a better understanding so we can all be complete. Each time spitting raw and unrehearsed, either in your feelings or laughing till it hurts. Love and Flaws, the show that you all need. Join us every week for the best of us, guaranteed.
Here we go.
What up, what's happening? This is the Love and Flaws podcast with Tiff and Sin. I am your man, one half of the dynamic duo, Carolina. Said this is the absolute beautifulest, prettiest Tiff. Tiff, how you doing, my man?
Listen, brother, I'm tired.
Yeah, we wore out today, y'all.
We tired. We've been doing a lot.
Huh?
We both have been doing a lot, and we've
been non-stop going, but we staying consistent. You know what I'm saying? We coming up. We about a month and a half away from 6 months. That's crazy.
It hasn't felt like 6 months though.
What'd I say? Or April, like 2 months away though. But still, that's crazy. We doing
it. Hasn't felt like 6 months to you?
No, it ain't
to me.
I feel like it's been a month and a half or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's been a whirlwind, you know. So So we hopped on. We was like tired or not tired. We do it.
Yeah, we got to. We've been running and pushing in, family life and personal and
I've been traveling the world, trying to see other countries and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Get my little hula shirt on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Listen, I loved your get up.
Man, I was out there. I got a whole look, because I got out here trying to wash it. Boy, I had a shirt in every kind of which way. Boy, I was outside. Boy, I was doing it. Think I'm playing. We not playing. We not playing out here.
Every day of the week.
I had it play. We was not playing. I was ready.
I know that's right.
Miami Vice shorts on. You know what I'm saying? We was doing it. Boy, I got going back in October.
Yeah, I'm going to Mexico in October.
I'm going Halloween week.
Oh.
Yeah, they do it big on the ship on Halloween. Costume
Are you gonna
party.
take a costume and everything?
Yeah, because I went once before with my guys, and I didn't. I just happened to book it for that week. We knew it was coming, but we didn't really know. We got on the ship. We didn't pack not there was 3 of us. We didn't pack no costume. We wake up Halloween day, walk out. They already got the deck decorated. They talking about costume party tonight. Everybody walking around the ship in costume and stuff.
Wow.
Yo, so
y'all on Carnival or Royal Caribbean?
Yeah.
Wow. See, I normally go Royal Caribbean.
Oh, really? See, I've been wanting y'all LAF fan, y'all with us today. We just talking, you know what I'm saying? But I've been wanting to try them because I hear it's nicer, but they say the Carnival the more fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Royal Caribbean is a little bit more like chiller vibe, fun, but it's a little bit older,
Maybe I need them to match because I'm about to be gold status on Carnival. I need them to match my my sellings thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gonna have to do a couple more because I think with Royal Caribbean I'm gold now, like on that. But I think you gotta go a couple. You'd have to go.
Yeah, I was just because my mom is like a platinum. You know what I'm saying? She be doing it.
Moms.
And so I was just telling, like, these cruise lines, it'd be a dope promotion. Like if they ran it once or twice a year and was like, yo, what if you decide to switch, like how phone carriers be like Switzerland, right? If you decide to switch and start cruising with us, we'll equate the days or whatever into your selling thing.
Look, they need to do that because they will probably get a lot more people.
Yo, because I know I've talked to people that are like, I'm building up points for all of them, like Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, whoever. They like, now I'm trying to get into the next tier of the thing, so they start getting more perks,
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been outside, LAF family. That's not why we here today. Here we actually going to talk about something a little more serious today. And I'm sure, as always, we're going to put our little jokey jokes in and say the things that we say, So I don't want nobody. I'm gonna go ahead and throw I ain't come up with one, but I'm about to add a little disclaimer. Neither one of us is psychiatrists or psychologists, psychiatrists,
or psychiatrists.
None of that. We're not professionals. We just two regular folks just giving our opinions on things and trying to make things, trying to have conversations, make things available to people to want to talk about things. You know what I mean? So this one is, like I said, this one's a little serious. We're gonna talk about love bombing. That's been a real I don't want to say popular, but for lack of a better word, that's been something that's been talked about a lot lately. You know what I mean? That's come on with some of the other stuff. I'm gonna try and kind of read like a little definition for those who may not have ever heard of love bombing, right? So love bombing refers to a pattern of overly affectionate behavior that typically occurs in the beginning of the relationship, most often a romantic one, in which one party bombs the other with over-the-top displays of adoration and attention. So this is like the coming on too strong, too fast type thing. Now, this is typically, when we talk about love bombing specifically, and it's even mentioned in one of the texts on like one of the like psychology.com or whatever.
Right.
Love bombing very specifically is a tactic that is used as manipulation. Right? So, because you can, and I want this to be very clear, you can shower the person you care about with compliments and love and not be love bombing. There's a very important distinction to be made, because like, we in a society now where simping is, like showing that you care, people talk down on it and stuff like that. So I want to be very clear. You can show that you care about your partner and shower them with love and adoration and not be trying to be manipulative about it. That can happen, right? Now, one of the big keys, and as I was reading on it, what happens with love bombing, right, is they shower you with all these compliments and adorations, and they already talk. It's 2 weeks in, and we planning the wedding and talking about kids, and you're doing all of that, and then there's a shift where typically they do something like super controlling, or then they start being more negative towards you, and then they shift back to the love bombing to try and make up for it. And you see that in abusive relationships too, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, we hear this, the stereotypical one is the man doing it, even though women can be abusive too, right? But the man hits you, why did you make me do that? That narcissistic. And then the next day it's flowers and candy and Tiff, I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm never gonna do it again. I love you so much. Da da da. Typical narcissistic behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if I'm telling you out the gate, you're the most beautiful woman I ever seen. Oh, wow, I see a future for us. Like, let's get, moving too fast, getting it in. And but I'm not consistent with my behavior. I'm using the love bombing as a manipulative trait to just try and keep you pulled in, because and I'm not trying to be sexist, but I feel like men probably use it more. Women, I'm just gonna be real, women are typically more emotional. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying y'all are typically,
Well, that's our makeup.
Right. So if a man can get you invested by love bombing, that's like getting they hooks in you. You know what I mean? So I
feel like with women, go ahead, because I feel like women would probably go about it different. But go ahead.
Yeah, like I was just gonna say. So now they got their hooks in you.
Yeah.
So now, if I, as the stereotypical clown that we talk about, start letting clown behavior slide, start coming out, you start seeing the makeup coming through in the nose. But I've been love bombing you, and you like, nah, but now you confused in the head.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes from. So I wanted that, like, we're gonna get into some other things. Because this one thing I'm really excited to talk about is how love bombing is not just in romantic relationships. That's gonna be crazy when we get to that. But so Tiff, have you experienced the whole love bombing thing?
I don't know. I don't. I've been in an abusive relationship, but it wasn't because it was never like a old type of thing. Like, I guess the love bombing wasn't verbal. You know what I mean?
Right.
If
Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to force that it's happened to you. Just as I'm reading it, I'm seeing like women have gone through this tons and tons of time, and a lot of them are like, wow, I didn't even realize that's what was happening. You know what I mean?
Well, I was gonna say, like, if I had to say that I was in a love bombing relationship, it wasn't my abusive relationship. Right. But what I'm saying I feel like there have been I feel like I have been in relationships where the person, and
you ever have somebody just come out the gate in love with you?
Right. Like, that's what I'm saying, but they never switched it. But I think that was a tactic to be like, oh my, like, it's almost like, I love you so much. I love you, to almost guilt me into not leaving.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah.
Right. But never the part of they changed that, right? It was always like, I love you, I love you, I love you. But almost like, if I tell her enough, if I convince her enough, she would feel bad to leave me because she knows I love her so much.
Right. And then like the part of it is the future faking too, right? So like where I'm like, we got this start laying it out. We're gonna do this, and we got this, the picket fence in the White House and the kids, and then they play on whatever you dreams and hopes that you have. I mean, they start making these promises. They call it future faking. I was reading on this, right? So it's an important part of love bombing, because it gets you dialed into the picture perfect idea of what you want out of a life with the love bomber. And that ensures that and it don't always have to be physical, it can be psychological, but once the control or the psychological abuse starts to kick in, now you're less likely to try and end it or give up on it.
Right.
Because they done set up all this foundation, and it's a hook. It's a hook 'em.
I definitely, cause like I'm even reading into, like, I have it up on my computer too, just to like get an understanding, because to be very honest, this is the first I've heard about this love bombing when you brought it to me. So I've never heard of it referred to as love bombing.
Right.
But reading into this, I have definitely have dealt with situations where it's been love bombed, like a couple of times. Like, looking at these definitions, giving some of the examples.
Yeah, they said it's not been studied that much until recently.
Wow. Like, I wish this would have came out like a long hell of a time. You know what I mean? Because I would.
Right.
Yeah. This
like
is
this
deep.
is something, like, I'm reading up on this stuff, and they like, this is something we need to be teaching our daughters to look out for us. And listen, again, women can do it too, but men, you know, we the hunters usually in the in the relationship area. So we trying to run this game at first. Like, it don't mean it ain't sincere, you know, when we trying to get you, but we try. See, and so, you know what, too? And I'm not trying. I don't want to be dismissive. Like, I guess it's the ill intent that you got that really defines it, right? Because I'm like, isn't that part of the game, though? Right? Like, ain't it?
Well, that's what I was reading, and it says, so this is the part that I was reading really quick, because this is probably touching on what you're about to talk about. So it says identifying love bombing can be just as important as identifying what isn't love bombing. Okay. It says it might look like declaring love very early on in a relationship. It can also look like buying expensive gifts, sending large bouquets of flowers to a person's work or home consistently. Sorry, something just popped up on my thing. Or wanting to move in together or get married soon after meeting.
Yeah, super
They
fast.
may want to spend inordinate amounts of time together and monopolize your time.
Right. Like, quit hanging out with your family.
Or not even, but like, I have to be there. Like, I have to be with you all the time.
Right.
That's a big one.
Now, and that's why I said, hear me out, though. How many times you see TikToks and they like, I want my man, I want to be up under my man, like, and men too, but more, you know, women, like, oh, you going? Oh, we going. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the funny, like the Kevin Hart one, right? Where everybody is memeing the joke, and he's like, and it's like men versus women, right? And it's like, the woman's like, all right, I'm going out with my girlfriends, and he's like, all right, all right. And she's like, we probably get it drunk. Okay. Everybody's gonna be there. All right, tell him I said hey. And then they switch it, right? And he's like, all right, I'm going out with my friend. Now, where are you going? I don't know. We ain't decided yet. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, are y'all gonna eat? I hope we do. I'm hungry.
Right. Yeah. Who's all gonna be there? I don't know. I'm about to find out. You know what I mean? Like, so it's gotta be.
And then I think too, a thing that men have to look out for. This is something.
Give it to us, Tiff.
Women will use this in the form of, you know, men are hollering and screaming, we want a woman that's gonna be with us for us, and, you know, have our back, and not be a financial thing. And so you find a woman, you might be down on your luck when you find this woman.
Right.
And she may take you in, let you move into her house, pay all the bills, don't say nothing. But she's using that as a form of a manipulation.
Oh, yeah.
To keep you. And I feel like women, because I've heard a lot of stories within the past 3 or 4 years, like even with my male friends, like, yo, I was down and out. You know what I'm saying? I met her, she ain't care about that. You know what I mean? All she wanted was my presence. Like, but that makes you want to stay in that relationship. Like, that's love bombing.
That's what I was going through with the one when I met you.
Yeah.
Cause I left my job in Florida, moved up there.
Right.
Oh, you kid. She had 2 cars. We could just get rid of yours. You can take this one. Because then when it went south, it was like, I'm taking the car, even though I was paying, I'm taking the car back, right?
Right.
Then it was, so yeah, it happens. It happened both ways. But my thing is this. Again, I feel like it's the narcissism part of it and the abusive, like the controlling, possessiveness is the key. Because people talk about wanting a lot of these things that we talk about with love bombing.
Right. Women, especially us as women, they want the flowers. They want you to pop up. They want you to be like, yo, be ready at this time. Yo, no, you not traveling with your girl. We traveling together. You know, like, but how can you tell?
I think it's
because you don't know anyone's intention until the real intentions come out.
I think it's got to be that feeling. You knew, even if you didn't want to admit it, because I've been in relationships where, like, before it went really south, and I started seeing signs, and I felt it, but I didn't want to admit it.
Right. You know what I think? I think because it says dysfunctional love bombing, because there's functional love bombing, obviously, and dysfunctional, right? And so it says it comes from a me first mentality. And that I was getting ready to say that before I read this, I would think that if my partner is like, I want to spend time with you because they want to, right? So it's always about what they want. Like, I want us to do this. I want us, not like, babe, let's spend time together. What do you want to do though?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's all about, oh, that's a good, because my third marriage, that everything was about him. Like,
right.
He wanted to be around me, but for him.
Right. You had to do what he wanted to do.
Well, no, it wasn't even just that though. It was like he had to be around me for his own selfish reasons.
Right.
Not because
was he insecure though? Was he worried about what you was going to, like, I want to be there?
No, I don't think he was insecure. I think it was just in his mind, he loved me. Okay. And in order for that to always be true, like, we had to be around each other all the time.
So was it controlling or malicious, or he just had, because I was reading where they was like, if you have the fear of losing them or abandon, it may not be like you're not doing it intentionally to hurt the person. You just,
right.
I always want to be around them because I
don't think it was that. Right. I think it was just like, have you ever been in a situation, in a relationship, where you might ask the person, like, they may tell you that they love you, and then you're like, well, why do you love me? But they can't tell you anything. Just, oh, because you're you. It's, but see, this is the thing I say with that.
Because I've been in that position and couldn't explain it.
But there has to be something that you can explain to the person as to why you love. Like, nothing is just like, whether it's you make me laugh, whether it's, you know what I'm saying, you just are a good soul, like, you keep my spirits. It gotta be something.
Sometimes it's hard to find the words for it when you get put on the spot. You know what I mean? Like,
I think where I was trying to go with that too is like, I feel like, and I don't know if I'm putting my words together right because I'm exhausted, but I feel like if a person is only around you for their benefit, it's not there's no energy exchange, right? Like, I get this from you and I'm gonna give you this because I want to share this part. It's like, I have to be around you because I get something out of your presence all the time. And I'm not giving back to that energy pot. Right. For you, it's just about me and how it makes me feel to be around you. I feel like that would be love bombing.
So I do feel like there are instances where it's going to be difficult to tell.
Absolutely. This is hard.
But I do think there are a lot of instances where it's clear, right? Oh, yeah. Because if they do something that is, especially if there's like physical abuse is super overt, right? Yeah. So, you know, if they smack you around and then the whole next week you're getting flowers every day at work, and,
right,
and I bought your favorite whatever,
right?
That's obvious,
right?
And I just want to say to folks out there, it's always easier said than done. It's easier on the outside looking in to be like, nah, like, don't put up with that,
right?
But on the inside, you know, it happens, and then they love bomb you, and you start thinking, well, maybe they didn't, you know, maybe they do care and they didn't mean it. That's what I hope and pray that people don't fall for. That's super overt. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing, it says it's a projection of a bond that doesn't yet exist.
Right, and that's it, right? Because a lot of them like, how do you know? And that there are people who make genuine connections right away. That happens.
Right, absolutely.
But it's rare. Let's just call it like
a spade is a spade.
It's super rare. So, but if it's happening in the first month that they just bombing away, you gotta step back. Sometimes, like when it feels like it's too good to be true, it really is.
Yeah, or I think of it this way with that, it's a projection of a bond that doesn't yet exist. If you think about somebody you grew up with, right? And maybe you haven't seen them, you know, in 20 years.
Right.
And then you reunite with them, and the connection that they're saying that you have is based on that 20-year ago relationship, right? Like, I love you, I've always like, and we're perfect, but that bond no longer exists if we haven't seen each other for 20 years.
Yeah. Now that brings up an interesting point, though, and this is I'm glad you started talking about friends, because, and this is where I saw a lot of like people having like moments, right? Like when they were talking about that. Let me find it here so that I can be clear. So romantic relationships are not the only place that love bombing occurs.
Right.
It occurs at an alarming rate in families, religious organizations, workplaces, and friendships. Friendships real big, right? So any relationship where someone is determined to keep you invested or dialed in. So and I'm reading through the examples when it talks about with your friends, and I encourage everybody to look this up just for their own self-awareness, whether you're single, in a relationship, or anything, right? Don't get too crazy. It's just like trying to self-diagnose you with a medical condition, but like read up on it and just be on the lookout for things. But when they was talking about the way it happens with friends, there was so many people in the comments that was just like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. Like I was telling you earlier when I was like, this is what we're going to talk about.
Right.
I think that when you look at it and what it happens with friends, when the friends are just, oh, you're my best friend. It's been a week. You my best friend in my entire life. And
yeah, see, that would be a red flag for me. I would be scared.
I feel like you my sister, you know, down there like going that hard and you don't know them that well. I feel like everybody has somebody that's gonna pop into their head.
That's like a thin line between love and hate type shit. Like on a friendship level.
That's crazy. I've never even thought about it. Like, I'm glad that they are studying this now and starting to identify this kind. Now, let me also say, I'm weary. I'm gonna say something that ain't popular either. Like, because a lot of this ties into like gaslighting too, right? And gaslighting is that was the 2022 term. Now, I 1000% think that gaslighting it happens, right?
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to think, yo, Sam over here trying to say gaslighting not a real thing. That ain't what I'm doing. That ain't what I'm doing. I think, again, the intent behind it. But this is where it gets cloudy for me, okay? Because with gaslighting, they talking about, matter of fact, let me just look up before I get crazy. let me look up what the definition is of gaslighting. Because I want to make sure, maybe I should have did this beforehand, but y'all bear with me, LAF family.
That's okay.
So gaslighting is an emotionally abusive strategy that causes someone to question their feelings, thoughts, and sanity. Someone who employs gaslighting tries to convince the other that their own perception of reality is wrong, The purpose of this is to convince the person being gaslit that they can't trust their own instincts or thoughts. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. I think we call a lot of things gaslighting when it's not gaslighting. Because the whole point when you get into a disagreement or you're having an argument is to try and win the argument. Now, hold on, hear me out. I'm not saying I understand. This is why I said it's going to get crazy. I understand, like in a relationship, right? It's not about winning. It's about being heard and you understand my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about things like that, right?
Okay.
I'm just talking about if we arguing over whether or not I should leave the toilet seat down or put it up or whatever, right? Like, I'm just saying in regular arguments, you take a position to try and convince the other person that they're wrong and you're right. Like, that is what an argument is. That's not gaslighting, right? Like, if I hit you with, so like my position is with, let's just take the toilet thing, right? I think everybody should put the lid and the seat down every time, because then we all have to do an equal amount of motion, right? So if the lid is down and you got to go in there to use the bathroom, you got to lift the lid up, you sit down, use the bathroom, you put the lid back down, right? If I go in there to pee, I got to lift the lid of the seat up, I do my business, put the lid of the seat back down, all's fair. Everybody's done the lid should be down anyways for sanitary purposes, but all's fair. Everything's equal. So if I'm having that debate with you, my goal is to try and convince you that I'm right. Not to understand that you think it should stay up. Like when you are having a persuasive conversation with, like, you're trying to convince somebody to see your point of view, that's not gaslighting to me.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's not gaslighting.
But I think we call a lot of that gaslighting. Like when we're like, I don't like, I'm trying to think of different, like I'm trying to think of things that ain't too controversial. Right?
So to me, gaslighting is gaslighting is more in a learning. To me, I put it in more of a learning perspective, right? So if, say you taught me something that I didn't know, right?
Okay.
And once you taught me it, whatever it is, let's just say religion. You're like, oh, Tiffany, I'm a Christian. And I'm like, okay, I'm not a Christian. I'm a Muslim or whatever it is. Right. And we start talking, and instead of us talking to understand what Christianity is and what the other religion is, you start tearing down why my religion is bad. That is gaslighting to me.
Okay, I agree.
Because it starts to make me second guess.
No, like what I was saying is there are examples of gaslighting, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is this. I'm saying there's a lot of examples that it's not gaslighting. So let's just say
no, yeah, I got that. I was just saying that to me, it's a learning experience. Like the toilet seat being up or down is not a learning experience.
But what I'm saying is, what's the difference between, so like the gaslighting, you're trying to make the other person feel like they're wrong about what they think, right?
I don't think just that they're wrong. You're trying to make them even second guess their own.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to enlighten you on what's the difference between that and you being like, because we talk about being able to, especially as men, to be able to explain something and maybe realize that I was wrong and change my point of view.
But there's nothing that you can enlighten me about a toilet seat.
Oh, I use that as an example, though,
right? But I'm just saying, so you're right. Like if we're using your definition, there's in the conversation. So if a woman is saying you're gaslighting me because we're arguing about a toilet seat, that doesn't make any sense. It has to be something to where
you're trying to put a value on the topic. And that's
no,
not
no,
part
no.
of.
I'm not putting a value on the topic. I'm putting a value on what the intent is of the conversation.
Yeah, I'm trying to make you realize that leaving the lid up is wrong. So here's a different example. Like say you don't say I'm going to the strip club with my guys. And you like not in this committed relationship. And everybody's different. Some people, I know married couples that go to the strip club, but it's a common thing that most women don't want their man to go to the strip club. That's why I'm using it. Yeah. I know you don't care, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Regardless if you agree with the positions or not, I'm saying let's take that, right? I'm like, y'all, like the Kevin Hart, I'm going out with my guys. We're going to the strip club. Whoa, what you mean? Yeah, I'm about to go get some lap dances. No, you're not. And that is a back and forth. She's trying to convince me that I shouldn't do that based on what's our boundaries in our relationship, right? Now, I'm either going to decide that I agree with her, like I'm either going to decide that I disagree, like, nah, you ain't telling me what I could do, don't do, whatever, or she's going to make an argument, a stance that's valid that makes me be like, you know what, I never thought of it that way. You might be right. Like maybe I'm gonna change my position on it. But that's not her gaslighting me, though. You know what I'm saying? But the same tactics are used to try and like you're trying to convince somebody to believe your position on something. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Now that it just popped into my head, we was talking about mine and my baby mama and mine's relationship. Remember?
Right.
And you was trying to tell me that I don't mean this. I don't remember exactly how it was said, but you know what I'm talking about. You were telling me like I don't know that wrong is the right word, but you know what I mean. Like I'm wrong for how I'm approaching it because it might be affecting my kid, right? And you was trying to give me examples of why it, it be that way. You're trying to convince me of something.
But no, I was trying to give you a different perspective. I wasn't trying to convince you.
Ain't that what all arguments are?
Well, no, because gaslighting is a form of manipulation which causes self-doubt and confusion. See, that's the difference.
Self-doubt on the topic itself, though, not self-doubt. Like I ain't doubting when you're trying to convince a person of your stance and then they change. That's what I'm saying. So now if I had changed my point of view, wouldn't that be me doubting myself and what I thought previously?
No, because that's not doubt. Because you change your mind doesn't mean that you're doubting yourself. You're looking at it through a different lens, a different perspective.
So that's where I'm saying there's a thin line with the gaslighting, right? Because some things are not the person trying to manipulate you. They're just trying to get you to see their side.
Which I agree that is not gaslighting. I
think that we call too many things.
But you're saying that you think people call it gaslighting.
Yeah, I think we call too many things gaslighting, and it's not always because I'm like, by most people's definition in terms of gaslight, nobody can ever disagree. Because when I'm trying to convince you that my stance is the right stance, now I'm gaslighting you. Because I'm telling you your stance is wrong. Because that's the big thing, right? Is when you tell somebody they're wrong about how they feel. Oh, you're just gaslighting me. No, I'm trying to convince you. I'm trying to convince you of my stance.
Yeah, I mean, I could see where that would be a thin line. I think, in my opinion, the difference between just gaslighting and trying to open up your eyes to a different point of view is what is the intention behind it.
And I said that to begin with, right? And that's the same thing with the love bombing.
Right.
And that's why, so before everybody jumps on me, like I'm 1000% understand. Like if you're trying to be manipulative and you have nefarious thoughts behind it, I'm about to make her second guess everything she thinks about this relationship based on X, Y, and Z. Like that's my intent, not because I genuinely believe my stance or I want something for the betterment of our relationship. Yeah,
right.
that's 1000% gaslighted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or if it goes into, and that's what I was saying, like gaslighting too is like the person. So like, if, okay, like you were talking about, okay, I'm going to the strip club and I'm, your girl is like, no, you can't go. But if
you
now, if
don't
I
love
start,
me then.
right, exactly. If I start saying, well, you can't love me if you go into the strip club, or if I'm more like, or if you turn around and say, well, you're too sensitive because
but here's the thing, right? Everybody's relationship different. So if the girl goes, you don't respect our relationship then if you go to the strip club, right? Oh, you just gaslighted me. No, I'm not. That's how I genuinely feel.
But yeah, that's a great point though.
You
because
see what
then
I'm
when
saying?
because that is trying to change their thought. Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's a thin line between a legitimate disagreement and gaslighting.
Yeah.
And I think we call too many things, because just like I know, if somebody said, like if I said that to you, Tip, like so say everybody wants us to be together. So let's just use us as an example, right? So we dated and you go out with your girlfriends every weekend. Right. And I'm like, Tip, can you just stay home one weekend? And you like, listen, you knew me when we got together. I go out with my girl. And I'm like, look, I feel like you don't care about me as much as you saying you do, because you want to spend a weekend with me or something. Oh, you just gaslighting me to not hang out with my friends. Nah, I genuinely feel like I want to spend a weekend with you. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, you're right. I see what you're saying.
So I think we call a lot of things gas. Because then I'm like, so
somebody's
now
gonna see this and think that you just gaslit me.
Right. Because I'm trying to convince you right now. I'm over here. They're gonna call me a professional gaslighter. Yo, I'm about to be called the biggest narcissist on the planet. They like, yo, he took it to he's gaslighting at a professional level right now. You know what I'm saying? He done told her he was gaslighted and then convinced her that he wasn't gaslighted. Yo.
You know what though? What you just said.
So I'm saying, because if that's the point,
oh my God,
because that's genuinely,
so true.
But genuinely, because then at that point, anytime somebody expresses that they don't like something you're doing,
it's gonna be,
you're trying to make me feel guilty. So can we no longer express how we feel?
Listen, this, and the one thing I will say with all of this is everyone wants to try to put a label and a definition on everything.
I think it's just life most of the time.
Right. I think that, it's those people that are always looking for answers, always looking for answers.
You either dating an asshole or you're not.
Sometimes there's no answer. It just is what it is.
That's what I'm saying.
It just is what it is.
Well, I took gaslighting to the next level today, boy.
But I'm looking
and
at this I'm like, yo, yeah. And
they're gonna be like, Tiff, don't let him gaslight you like that. Don't let him gaslight.
Stronger than that. We know.
Right. So that means we can never change our mind.
Never.
No, because I'm not being gaslit today.
Try that at work and see how.
Yo, every woman's gonna be like, of course the man would say it like that. You know what I'm saying? But I brought up examples.
But no, listen, how you just said it and set it up and broke it down. I definitely see what you're saying. And no one is ever going to be able to say, and you know what? And I feel bad for y'all men. I'm sorry, because if you get a woman that is like, oh, I'm, let's go,
we can't accuse y'all.
Like, y'all are done.
We can't accuse y'all of gaslighting us. That's not manly.
No, because we would never do that, right?
Right. That's only us. It's only
men
us.
can gaslight.
Right. See, you gaslighting me right now. Yo,
gaslighting is a masculine.
Listen, I don't want anybody that's
trait.
been hurt by gaslighting to be offended. We're not trying to make light of it. We're trying to bring it. We're trying to have conversations that are hard to have.
Yeah, no, and listen, at the end of the day, this is how we talk. We joke,
right?
But because listen, I always say this, and every joke is truth. That's why it's funny. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're laughing at something, it's because there's some truth behind it.
Because I'm like, we gaslight our kids. We gaslight our kids all the time.
We do.
We want them to feel bad.
Listen, we have to gaslight them to a degree to raise them. Because if we just let them think whatever they're gonna think,
you want them to feel guilty. Lost. You want them to feel guilty for doing wrong.
Yes.
Now, again, that's where the intent comes in. Yeah. We're doing it to try and mold them into good human beings.
Right. Or to just learn life lessons.
Because some parents, and that was a thing too, with the love bombing too, and gaslighting, some parents gaslight their kids just to keep control, like just to fuck them up. You know what I mean? Yeah. My ex is a perfect example. Her mama, woo, piece of work, bro.
Really?
Oh my God. Piece of work.
And I've seen friends of mine who love bomb their children, thinking that because they love bomb them, that they're gonna do what they want them to do. Cause
it's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. But let's not gaslight them, because they're right. They might be able to do whatever they want to do with their kids.
But I think one of the biggest things so far that I'm taking away from this, whether it's gaslighting or the love, it's the intent that is behind it.
Right.
Everything is about intention.
And that's what's so hard. You can never be in somebody else's head.
Right.
And that's what makes it so hard, especially with the love bombing. And men, we fall victim to it too, just like you said. We don't know, do they genuinely care? Right. Or are they trying to manipulate my heart? And then when we in a relationship, boy, them rose-colored glasses, we don't see things.
Right.
That vision not 2020.
With that, I think with that love bombing, I think for me personally, if I were in that situation now, as where I am in my life, and I was able to recognize it, I think the way that I would be able to determine if, in fact, because am I feeling guilty when I leave because of what they've done for me?
Right. And that's part of it. That's exactly
right. But then if that's how I feel, then I know that love bombing couldn't have been genuine.
But it's hard when you're in it to see
that. Oh,
that.
Yeah.
Like afterwards, we'd be like, what the hell was I thinking?
Right.
You know what I mean? But
especially because I'd be ready to pack up and go.
What? But in it, you'd be like, yo, what? Like my that one relationship.
Like, so what if you meet a guy or a woman and they're like, okay, I want to take you out on a date. What do you like to do? Where do you like to go? What things do you enjoy? So I know how our first date. Like, damn, in my mind, I'm gonna be like, yo, are they doing all this because they really want to, or
they bomb away? Bombs over Baghdad, baby. Don't look up.
Damn. This changes the whole relationship game.
And this is why I was talking about how, like, because I'm a romantic, right? Like, I want to do, like, so if I had started dating somebody, say, a month ago,
right?
Valentine's Day just came. I'd have did the whole thing, the room with the rose petals, and because that's what I'm not love bombing though.
You're love bombing, but you're love bombing genuinely.
Now I'm a love bomber and a simp. We can't win out here.
You can't win.
So now, because I have genuinely, like, we making jokes, but I have genuinely.
And then if you don't do it,
now I ain't worth the shit.
She's gonna gaslight you.
Right.
And she's gonna be like, but you don't love me enough to do that?
fucked up world. We run, we talk. We can't win. We can't win.
What
And I
do
know
we
there's gonna be some
do?
people watching this mad as hell. They making fun of it. Like, fuck y'all. I'm just saying, this is real life out here. This is real life out here.
Like, this is serious.
Cause when you're not an asshole, it's hard to navigate because of all the other assholes that have come along and fucked things up.
And messed everything up.
You know what I mean?
And
Because
it's the same thing with, I find all the time, like, you know, even with, you know, dating and men don't understand when a woman is genuine. Like,
right.
They don't understand it either, because there are so many women that are going after their pockets. They're going after social status. They're going after.
Listen,
like,
and
they
I'm one of them.
know.
And I'm one of them dreamers, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm one of them. Like, if I meet somebody and I start to like them or whatever, I start thinking. I'm like, I wonder what it would be like if we was to get married. Like, I don't come out. You can't say that shit too soon, because for the same reason we talk about. But I am one of those that be like, I wonder what it would be like if we was together and start thinking down. I do that with anybody that I start potentially, like, in my head, I'm like, why would you not? Like, because you're not doing this to just casual. That's not the end game, right? So, like, just like you start the football season, you wondering what you got to do to get to the Super Bowl. You're not wondering just what you got to do to get the next. You think about week to week, but you also think about, we got to get to the playoffs. We got to get to the Super Bowl, right?
Really? You go through all of that?
Yeah, but you know, what we say, I'm different. You know what I mean? Like, because I got to look at it like this. So that same analogy, like, yo, is this person going to get along with my kid down the, like, obviously they not about to meet her for a while.
Right.
But I got to start looking for the traits that I'm like.
When do you start doing that? Like,
yo, my kid has only ever met 2 people I've ever dated.
I know, but I'm saying, like, when you're in a relationship, like, when is it that you start picturing that? Is it when you just genuinely know that you want to be with them, or?
Right. Yeah. It's not like, so like say we, you know, I'm like, we talk, say we meet online, we talk like, oh, let's get together and hang out. You know what I mean? We go hang out. It went well. Like, let's do this again, do it again. Like, you know, I'm saying, like, but probably understand what I'm saying. Not like I'm online searching for wedding rings.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm saying a month in, I'm like, all right, start paying attention to things to find are you really going to be compatible with this person?
Wow.
Like, I don't understand. I feel like that's what we should be like. Tell me I'm wrong. Like, I feel like,
no. Listen, the one thing about relationships and how people go about it, and I say all the time, is there's no wrong or right. It is
right.
What works
Now
I'm
not acting on that. You know, I'm not saying like 5th date in. So Tiff, you know, what's your ring? What ring size? You know, you like baguettes or princess cut? You know what I mean? Like, we're not having them.
Yeah, but I don't. For me, I don't think about that.
Like, you don't wonder, like, how long in before you start? Is it not until you fall in love? Because maybe that's
probably once I realize that I love, like, I'm in love with that person, then that is when I'll go there. And the reason that I go is because I do realize that some people are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Okay. But do
so
you
that's
not
what
ever
I
have
always keep
moments
in my
where
mind.
you're like, you not ever have moments where you're like, I might could see myself falling in love with this person?
No. Oh no.
No. So you just wake up one day and it happened.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm dating the person and we're going about our normal, and then they're like, in an instant, I might be like, yo, I'm in love. It could be something that they do or say, or they touch me, and I might get a different feeling than when they touched me before.
See, I feel like right at the time that we're like, we're gonna take this serious, like, we're gonna be in a committed relationship, not see other people and stuff. Right. At that point, it's like, when you're in, and that's what it is. So that could be a month, that could be 3
that could be
months
6 months. Yeah.
Right. But it's at the point when it's like, all right, Like whether we have the talk or it just kind of organically happens, like
Right.
you mind, right? Like there ain't nobody else. Well, now I'm like, cause I feel like, all right, now am I gonna waste cause we old now. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna waste my time. I can't waste 2 years playing.
Just yeah.
Now that don't mean that again, I know it still gotta progress properly.
Yeah.
But if I'm seeing things now that I'm like, I don't know that I could be in a happy marriage with somebody that does that on a regular basis.
Right.
I gotta think. I'm gonna just let it play out and see how. That's our problem. We see red flags and we be like, well, I care about it.
And I, you know what I think though, in a different perspective is, I don't see them as red flags maybe when they initially happen, because I'm not gonna be with this person in the next year. In my mind, I'm not thinking that I'm gonna, I don't know where I'm gonna be in the next year. So it's not until I get that feeling of I am in love that I'm gonna start being like,
but then by then it's too late though. Cause like, what if I show you a red flag on the first couple weeks, and you like, well, you know what, this is just, this might be for the season, whatever.
Right.
And then 3-4 months later, that red flag ain't had an opportunity to come up again just because of the way life cycles
works. Right.
But now done did some other shit to make you fall in love. Now when it happens again, you like, but I love him.
Well, you're right, but I will say this. The way that I operate, if it's something that I didn't like, I'm never
gonna
cutting them off. I'm never gonna forget it, and we're gonna have a conversation about it. And if it happens again, then it's gonna get cut off.
But you risking being too invested at that point, though.
Yeah, but I think it depends on who you are. And it's sad. It's sad, but I'm used to loss. So for me, when it comes to relationships, I don't want to say that I would never be hurt if I was in love with somebody and it didn't work out, because that's a lie.
Right.
But I would never be in a place again where I felt like the world is crumbling around me. I don't see nothing but volcanoes and tornadoes coming to work. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I'm gonna be all right. Like,
yeah, cause don't get me wrong. I've dealt with people and I'm like, I don't know that I'm seeing this going anywhere, but I'm not in a serious relationship with anybody else to let it play out.
So like I'm gonna just kick it with them.
Right. But then there comes a point when people catch feelings, you know what I mean? And then you need to start thinking like, yo, could this really be a serious thing?
Yeah, I think I probably need to start thinking about that a little bit earlier. But I don't
let me gaslight you. Look, don't let me gaslight you. You go ahead and you think that 2 years later, if that's what you want to do. Don't let me gaslight.
I don't think that I need to think of it soon, but maybe just, a little bit earlier. And maybe I don't know. I mean,
well, like, because I wanted to clarify too. I don't want people to think I'm thinking that necessarily like right out the gate.
No.
But I
know people who have, and this is not just for you. I have girlfriends, like, they'll meet a guy and they'll be talking for a month and they're like, oh, I wonder if he wants to get married. And I'm like, yo, you've only known him for a month, but I really like him, but you only have known him for a month. There's no way in the world you should even be thinking about marriage with this person after a month.
I think that's
my opinion. I'm not gaslighting.
Yeah. No. I think that's the woman's version of gaslighting. Like, or the love bombing, not the gaslight. I'm sorry. The love bombing.
Yeah.
Because I think men do I'm buying you gifts. Oh, girl, you like every second of the day, you beautiful, when they have nefarious motives. And I think women do it like, have you ever thought about how many kids you want? And because that's that false, what they call it, the false future or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think women have that one under control. What's it called? The future faking. Because the woman's like, yeah,
like after a month, you're thinking about children and
we gonna get married.
Like, man, we've only known each other for a month and you want to have a child with me?
When am I gonna get to meet your mom? Because I've had that happen. They be super like 3 weeks in. When am I gonna get to meet your mom? Like, my mom don't like
that.
nobody.
You doing good. I know people a week, they trying to figure out if this is their lifelong partner. And I'm like, yo.
Or when they want to meet your kid too soon.
Yeah.
What you need?
Yeah.
My kid is savage. That ain't what you want. That ain't what you want.
Yeah.
She a mini me. That ain't what you want.
Right.
My girl Nevaeh don't play about her daddy. You know what I'm saying? She don't hold no punches.
This is very enlightening. And I think that, like you said earlier, people definitely need to research this, look it up. And
yeah, because we made a lot of jokes. I got a lot of people.
That's just how you and I process
I got a lot of people not liking me right now. Listen, I'm not trying. Listen, where's camera 2? Let's zoom in on me now. Listen, folks. I'm gonna lift the lid up so you can see my eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? Listen, y'all. And I'm not trying to gaslight y'all right now. Y'all can feel exactly however y'all want to feel. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all. I'm just trying making jokes. It's just jokes. Gaslighting is a real thing. It's just jokes.
It is. But I think that we are super sensitive. We are becoming a super sensitive community. And
man, you don't know how long I've been wanting to have that gaslighting conversation. I've been wanting to have that.
You should have had it. Because I know a real gaslighter.
Oh, I do too.
And I know like a thorough gaslighter. And I happen to love this person. And I know that they're a gaslighter.
I had this conversation with somebody and tried to tell them why I felt the way that I felt about something. And then they was like, nah, that ain't happened. You wrong. That ain't like, they real out here.
So now and that's another thing we get. If I tell you my experience and you try to take that experience away from me, you're definitely gaslighting.
No, because then you're gaslighting me. Remember, because if we say how we feel about it, that's gaslighting the person.
No, but I'm talking about the experience. If you be like, Tiffany, I walk down the street and a car hit me and I'm like, there ain't no car hit you, you hit yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely gaslighting.
That's invalidated. That's a big part of it. A part of that. Invalidated.
And that's what the gaslighter that I know, that's what he does a lot. Like he tries to invalidate anything that you say. Yeah. Oh no, that's not what it was. It was this. And
that's what I went through with this person. And then I'm even saying, like, how you just
was it a female?
Yeah. I'm like, how you just telling me that that's not what happened? Like you don't agree that I did that or attempted this or that or whatever, right? Like you just saying, nah. Okay.
That's all. I think that's all you could do with the gaslighter. Just be like, all right, and keep it pushing. Like,
have a different conversation. Be like, you know what? I didn't receive our conversations that way. You don't even, because apologize is tough for people when they don't think they did anything wrong. Like, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I don't think that's how it happened. Can we talk about it some more? Right? That's what people do when they not gaslighting. Not like, nah.
Exactly.
Nah, that ain't happened. That ain't nah.
Exactly.
You can't be dismissive of people's feelings, even if they're completely wrong, right? Like, if I'm like, Tiff, I feel like you cussed me out last time we had a conversation, and you like, I don't remember the conversation going that way.
Right.
Versus saying, nah, that ain't happened. You felt like that, but that ain't really what happened on the phone call.
Right.
Obviously, they's crazy people crazy. You know what I mean? And they make up shit, but you still gotta be like, hold on now. At what point during that conversation did I say any curse words to you? Did I raise my voice? Because I don't remember that happening that way.
Right. And if I did that and it affected you that bad, at least give me the example.
Right.
So that I can
That's having a productive conversation about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Absolutely. And I think too, honestly, some of this gaslighting stuff comes from people who are like super sensitive, don't want to take accountability for certain things, and it's easier just to be like, oh, they're gaslighting me or doing this, instead of you taking ownership.
Yes, and then sometimes, and some people don't want to change their mind on stuff.
Right.
So it's easier to be like, nah, you making it up.
Right.
Now, I also think that some gaslighting comes from that part more than trying to hurt you. It's a self-preservation.
Oh, yeah.
It's a self-preservation about being right or wrong, or not wanting to feel guilty, which is just as bad. I'm not dismissing that.
Yeah.
But some people ain't doing it to try and break you. They just don't want to feel the stuff that they got to feel on their side, you know?
Right. They don't want to take accountability for anything.
Right.
And so it's like, it's easier to just, throw the gun back on you and let it stick to you. And I ain't got to do, you know what I'm saying?
I just want to say again, ladies, don't let these men out here gaslight y'all. Don't. I'm about to get canceled. They're about to cancel Carolina said. But you can't cancel me because that's gaslighting me. Then I'll be on the flip side.
On the receiving side.
Right. We're not doing that.
You won't be the giver. You'll be the receiver.
Y'all better love bomb the hell out of me.
I'm not
making light of it.
We want them to do that because it might not be genuine. So I guess we stuck in it.
I'll take ingenuous love bombing over gaslighting every day.
You got to put your Cash App up so they can send you money.
That's a female trait. I can't do that. Let me stop before I really get canceled out here, y'all. I'm playing.
We are not trying to offend anybody. We're just joking, having fun.
I have legitimately been love bombed and gaslit. I feel like taking accountability in my younger days. I'm sure I did it too in arguments.
Right.
Because I believe we're all guilty of gaslighting to some degree at some point in time. Maybe probably more when we were in our teens and early 20s. Because I do think that when you love, especially in a relationship, when you feel like you're in love with somebody, care about somebody, and you're trying to get them to see your point of view, you try to manipulate the argument to your benefit. That's to me, like, I don't want to say that's the definition.
I don't think those were the right words.
I don't think that's the definition of an argument, but I think most people, when they're young, that's how they argue, right? Like I'm trying to pull out whatever big guns I can to win the argument. Again, I think that comes with maturity. You know what I'm saying? Like if you hear two 8-year-olds arguing, the one's like, nah, because if you do that, my mama gonna die. Like, you know, you're trying to spin it so that the other person is like, all right, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. In the younger days, absolutely. I will say though, 22 and up, I never handled,
because that's one of the things they teach you, like that relationship coaches and stuff is how to fight fair, how to argue fair. Right. And that's because when we were younger, most of us didn't know how to
fight. Yeah, that's true.
And that's why I said I think we've all at some point,
absolutely,
whether it was at junior prom or whatever, have probably tried to gaslight somebody in some way.
Right. You are right. Know what I mean?
And that's just part of growth, and being able to recognize that is, listen, I know I used to be a big asshole. Like, I was never mean to people like that, but I just know I'm sure I was selfish enough to do some of these things at a point in time. You know, most people, I'm fortunate that I feel like I've had a good, positive, lasting impact on a lot of people. because people tell me all the time, you weren't as big of an asshole as you thought you was in high school. But I just wish I had, in my head, I wish I had did certain things a little differently. You know what I mean? Like,
but
I was
it's all a part of growth.
Right. I was never a bully. I used to beat up bullies. You know what I mean? So like, I know I wasn't like an overt real scumbag or whatever.
Right.
But I do wish I had done a few things differently and treated some people probably a little better than I should have,
Yeah.
So moved a little differently. So, it's what it is.
Yeah. Listen, everything should be about growth. At this stage in our life, we don't know if we're going to end up with somebody, if we're going to be single for the rest of our life, but to grow to be a better person and talking about and being able to acknowledge, whether you have gaslit, you haven't, but all of it is just helps make you a better person.
Yeah.
It really
so I
does.
hope everybody, and healing from this stuff is tough too. So that's why, like I said, I was making a lot of jokes and stuff, but I know this is super real. Healing from it and not letting it affect your future relationships is tough.
It's hard.
It's tough. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I was in that relationship where that my person made me feel my self-worth and value was low. You know what I mean? And it's tough. It's tough to recover from those kind of things. So for everybody that's gone through that, like I said, we joke and stuff, but we love y'all. We want everybody, do your research on love bombing. I was going to originally just call this the love bombing episode, but now I'm going to call it love bombing and is gaslighting real. That's how I'm going to put it up on the thing, just to see what people tune in.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to get a lot of comments on this one. So.
Yeah. Well, listen, men, women, if you are in a relationship, because to me, gaslighting and love bombing, all of it is part of abuse,
manipulation. Yeah.
And abuse. And, being a domestic abuse survivor, it's serious. It is.
Yeah.
But, do your homework, do your research so you know these things. To number one, identify if you are in that type of abusive relationship, because it is a form of abuse. And then number two, so that you can reach out and get help. So
facts. Because I'll come abuse an abuser. I just want to put that out there. I'll bully a bully.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't stand bullies.
But I think we're going to wrap it up there. I done enough canceling of Carolina today. So we love everybody.
Y'all, be patient with my brother.
It's always real, though. It's always real. Listen, I like Bernie Mac.
You are.
Like Bernie Mac. I just say the things y'all want to say, America. You know what I'm saying?
But are too afraid to say it.
Right. So, but I love y'all. This is the Love and Flaws podcast. I am your man, Carolina. This is the absolute most prettiest Tiff. And we love y'all.